Hi there, it's Amy from Cakes with Faces. Now today I've got a bit of a low-key video for you because I'm so busy finishing off my book, my Japan travel guide book. Thank you so much to everyone who made it happen through Kickstarter. I'm going to be sending it off to print within the next 2 weeks. Really, it's the sort of project I could carry on editing probably forever if I didn't know there were 500 of you guys waiting for it. So that really gives me the motivation to get it finished and make it the best I can. If you missed out on the Kickstarter, you can pre-order it on my website, cakeswithfaces.co.uk. The Kickstarter books and rewards are going to be sent out first in July, and then after that I'll be sending out the pre-orders. In today's video, I've got some bits and pieces from around Sapporo that didn't fit into any of my other videos. It's a bit like the DVD extras. There's some things I spotted around the city, the cheapest figures I've ever seen in Japan, and then at the end there's some UFO catchers in the arcades, and finally we managed to win a few things. It's a bit of a mixture, but I hope you enjoy it. And if you want to subscribe, in my next video I'm going to have some updates for you. There's been some changes to the Japan Rail Pass and how you do seat reservations, and just some things you need to know for your next trip. So we started off the day in the best way possible at Koko Curry. In my last video in the comments, lots of you said this is one of the things you missed about Japan, and I really do too. Phil had the pork cutlet curry and I had mixed vegetable curry with cheese as an extra topping. It was just what we needed when it's so cold and snowy in Hokkaido. Next we had a look around the city and I'll show you a few things we spotted. Look at this One Piece construction signs in Sapporo. We just come across this building, it's Sapporo Clock Tower, and it just looks like it doesn't fit in with the rest of the city at all, which is sort of modern looking buildings made of stone and bricks. And then this, with all the wood panelling, looks completely different.
Apparently it's modelled after Western frontier, things like USA frontier buildings, and it was built in the 1800s or so.
In fact, the whole of Sapporo doesn't really feel that Japanese because it's built on a grid system like New York or somewhere, and the buildings don't really look that Japanese either. And then we come across this. We spotted a large branch of Book Off and just had to go in. Book Off is a shop that sells books, CDs and games. This one's also Hobby Off, so they also had merch and collectibles at really good prices. We just found a really big retail park style Book Off while we were walking around Sapporo, and they had some really good prices for things in there.
So I think because it's not in the middle of Tokyo, things tend to be a little bit cheaper as well. You don't always get the same range, so for games there was definitely a smaller section, but the prices were better of what was there. And one thing I did find was my Dreamcast controller, which I was looking for in Akiba, and I chose not to get because they weren't very good quality. Like, they were all yellowing and you know, looked a bit old. And they were about 1,500 yen, whereas here I paid 500 yen.
That's a lot less.
It's about 1,000 yen cheaper. It looks to be in pretty good condition as well. So it does pay to look around and perhaps not go to the shops that are right in the middle of Shinjuku or the middle of Akiba. Maybe go a little bit out your way if you happen to be near one that's a little bit outside of the main centre.
Or if you're walking around in another city, if you're travelling around Japan, we saw a big retail park one like this in Fukuoka as well.
Yeah, the prices there were good as well. And I read on the internet the other day that people were getting better bargains outside of Tokyo, which is pretty much what you'd expect anyway.
The prices for the figures were really good as well. The ones in boxes, and they had a load that were in plastic packets out of their boxes. They all looked in perfect condition. I got a Love Live figure, the ones that are sitting on the steps that I'd seen before, and they are just UFO catcher prize figures from a couple of years ago. It was only about 300 yen, which is really cheap for figures, especially when you think how much you pay for them somewhere like Comic Con in London. That would be £35–40 or so. Look, it's a Snow Miku car. That's really cool. Look, they got plushies in the front as well. Now you know how much I love toast, and I found bread gachapon and these little tags off the bread I used to collect when I was little. I don't know why. Let's see which one I get. It is the blue, it's the loaf of bread. I can't believe how big these snowdrifts are. They were everywhere. We've seen quite a few parents pulling their kids along on sledges on the snow. It makes sense. Pushing a buggy must be pretty difficult because pulling a suitcase along was hard work, and it's fun for the kids. We have also seen a couple of kids falling off their sledges. We spent the rest of the day at the Sapporo Beer Museum and looking around the Snow Festival. There's separate videos about both of them on my channel in the Hokkaido playlist. After a few hours at the Snow Festival, we were absolutely freezing, so we went inside to warm up. This is Tanuki Koji. It's a covered shopping street that runs east-west through Sapporo. It's really good for escaping the cold. We found some arcades and had a go at the UFO catchers. Whoa! Whoa!
One shot.
Oh, I can't believe it actually picked it up.
Yeah.
Yay! One shot peel. A win on the first try. This is unheard of. We'd already paid for 5 goes, so we might as well use them up. On these types of machines, you can either pay for 1 go or you can buy several at once, and then sometimes you get a free go.
Oh no, you didn't get quite enough back. I can't make it go further back.
Come on, scoop them all out.
Nope, too many, too many.
Oh! This is an unusual machine with only 1 arm on the claw.
Where it's got to go, because that has now... Oh no, there we go, right through it.
Oh, whoa! Are they all going to fall off as well? Oh, it pushed them back on. So if you win again, it'll push those ones off. What we're trying to win here is Dars chocolate. It's just plain chocolate, nothing too fancy. It comes in individual squares already broken up for you. The best one is white Dars, which is a bit less sickly than white chocolate sometimes is. Ah! That can't push them all back up again. Whoa! Winning so far.
Right, what do you reckon the best thing to do is to try and scoop some of them down?
They must have to tidy up this machine so much.
I might go for the end bars.
Yeah, you need some to fall down to push them off. Oh no!
I've done it again. Yeah.
Oh no! Last try.
Oh, I think I've undercompensated. No. So, here we go, here we go, here we go.
One more.
Come on.
That must be extra sticky on that shelf.
There we go.
Did we spend more in this machine than it would have cost to just buy these at the convenience store? Probably, but that's the way it goes. Oh!
You've actually done it. How are you supposed to win that?
They must have to reset this all the time.
Oh, I missed that, haven't I?
So they were just a few bits and pieces from around Sapporo, a bit like the DVD extras. I hope you enjoyed them. Next time I'll have those updates for you about the Japan Rail Pass and a few things you'll need to know for your next trip, whenever that is. So now I'll get back to finishing my book and I'll see you next time. Bye bye!